Hi, it's Alicia. Welcome to my channel where I post random videos. I don't know. We're going through a quarter life crisis, but today I thought it'd be fun to show how I cut my hair at home. So I haven't had my hair cut professionally since I was in grade 5, when I got my hair thinned. With the exception of the time I got my hair cut on a cruise in 2024, but I won that in like a free draw. So I had to do it. Other than that, I've always cut my hair at home, dyed and styled it at home. Since then, I basically had long periods of time where I grow out my hair as long as it could possibly be. Typically about at my waist length. And then I'll do a big chop to my shoulders. And I've done like a big chop in grade 9 and in grade 12. More recently, I've enjoyed having longer hair and then just doing more frequent trims at home. I have been a bit more experimental with my hair since the pandemic, like 2020, because you could just stay at home if you mess up and people won't really see you. For example, I did give myself some green highlights at home by bleaching my hair and then putting blue dye to counteract the yellow, the brassiness. I've also tried perming my baby hair so that they'd sit straighter on my forehead. That didn't work, but here's a picture. I've also tried a failed jellyfish haircut, and you can't really tell right now. After I shower, you'll see. I have super curly hair, and the way I cut it was I was not fully committed to the jellyfish haircut, so it just looked like, you know, really long layers on the bottom, and then like somewhat shorter layers on top. It just looked like a bad haircut. It didn't look intentional at all. It was so ugly. My roommate at the time, Carrie, ooh, she was laughing at me. Rightfully so. I was laughing too. So now when I cut my hair, when I style my hair, I like my long layers. I am currently growing out some brown dyed hair at the ends. I'm hoping to cut those off today and just have so much shorter hair. I usually style it using the Revlon hairbrush dryer, which does damage my hair really bad, but I do it once a week and I put a lot of hair oil on after, so hopefully it remedies it. Probably not enough. I should just lay off, but I won't. If anybody's trying to save money in 2026, this is the way to do it. If anybody wants like long layers, this is the way to do it. I am wearing my Perfect Day at Coco K shirt. So with that little background info on my hair history, I am going to wash and condition my hair and then I'll be back to cut it. I have showered, I've washed and conditioned my hair. It is somewhat wet. I do have a sink in front of me to, you know, starting out by brushing my hair again. I always brush my hair in the shower when it has conditioner in it. That way it's just easier to detangle. I'm gonna start by taking my 2 fingers towards the end of my eyebrows or at my temples, and then trailing all the way to the back of my head and putting my hair up in a half up, half down look. I'm gonna be starting by trimming the bottom layer of my hair first, and that will help determine the length. I'll split my hair in half down the middle, and I've got this. I'll probably back up so you can actually see. Oh, it's so pretty. Wow, wow, wow. There's no product in it. That's why. And it's super dry and it's water. Can you see that? I'm gonna use the comb. And I'm gonna be taking sections like this. I take vertical sections. I take my comb and I take 2 fingers like this. I decide on the length that I want to cut, and then I cut. Can you see? So that's it. I toss this to the back in the middle. I take the next little part and I take the section I've already cut and I actually do combine it. I'll do that same technique where I take my comb and I take my 2 fingers. I extend all the way out, and whenever I reach that part where that hair thins out and I can see I've cut the previous section, that is where I'm gonna cut the new hair. Once again, I'm taking a small vertical section of hair, taking a little bit of the section that I've already cut, using that technique, and cutting to the appropriate length, which is going to be about there. Next section, it is so incredibly dry and brittle. So because you are cutting it vertically, when it falls, it's not going to fall into a very blunt and straight line, which is why I like this technique. As I get closer to the hairs framing my face, there's going to be less and less to cut because the hairs that are already framing my face are shorter. And I'm going to go back into the face framing pieces at the end to style it a bit better, or to cut it a bit better, I should say. I'm going to move on to my right side. I will take a hair from the sections I have already cut and I'll join that in with this section. So I take my comb, I take my 2 fingers like this, I'll trail down, and then eventually reach the hair that has already been cut, and I will cut this section. And should be even. Is it even? That is the bottom layer cut. Next I take down another section of hair. Let's say the next section of my hair is going to be on my forehead, but more so where like these bald spots are. So really the only hair that remains tied up is at the crown of my head. I don't know if you can see that. This is gonna look really funny. With this middle section of hair, I'm going to split it down the middle on the back of my head once again. And then we're gonna go through that same process. I'll take a vertical piece from the very center back, just with my fingers like that, and I'll separate that from the rest of the hair. I'm gonna comb that out. This is where you can see a lot of the brown hair. I'm gonna take a small piece of hair from the bottom section, which I have already cut, and I'm gonna combine it with this section. That is going to help me determine where to cut my hair. So I'm gonna go in with the same technique, use my comb, use my 2 fingers, and it looks like I'm gonna be cutting it right there. So I will let that hair fall. I don't know if you could see, but it is falling in a diagonal length, which is what I want. I'll keep going all the way around for this section. I have cut all of the middle section, so now I just have to deal with the top. What I do here is essentially the butterfly haircut. I'm gonna take the hair on the crown of my head and I'm gonna brush that forward to my forehead. I feel like Jenna Marbles when she's like in her bathroom and she's like doing things to her hair. Now that the hair is like this, I take a hair tie and I tie it right at the start of my forehead. It's in a ponytail now. And I'm gonna drag that out. Ow! Oh my God. Okay, I'm gonna continue dragging that forward until I reach a length that I'd like to cut it at. Once again, I'm gonna use hair that I already cut, so that's gonna be from, it's so funny talking like this. I'm gonna use hair from the section I already cut and bring that forward as a reference point. I'm gonna bring that forward all the way there, making sure that my hair is dragged towards the center and it's not leaning towards either my left or right side. I'm gonna do that until I get to the end of the, until the end of the reference point. So I have reached the end, so that's about there, which means I'm gonna cut this part of my hair off. Okay, then I let that down and I'm gonna wet my hair. I am gonna part my hair down the middle. I look like I'm wearing a wig. If I compare that to the hair that I've already cut, it's about the same length, so I think it's a good length. So I'm not gonna cut it further. Probably not gonna do anything else to it. Do I like this? It's fine. Okay. So this is my haircut for the most part. I know it looks uneven when you look at it like this, okay? It looks like this is chopped super short and this is very long, but they're layers, okay? Get with the program, they're layers, okay? So if I take away that bottom layer that's really thick, then you can see it looks a bit more normal. These bottom layers, they're gonna be in the back, so it doesn't matter. But now I'm gonna just trim my bangs, or my side bangs, my face framing pieces. I'll be doing that by making a triangle. I'm not very good at tutorials. I don't know how much of a tutorial this is rather than an experience. I'm gonna make a triangle and cut. I'm gonna cut around there. This is completely up to the individual. Oh my gosh, I forgot. I literally have some clips. I'm gonna split this down the middle. And then I'm gonna make an even tinier triangle at this center. And this will be the very shortest part of my hair. Hopefully that is even. Okay. I'm gonna take my comb and comb that out once again, and I want that to reach, say, my chin area. Okay, cut. Cool. Then I'm gonna use that and cut diagonally down. I think the technique is like a slide cut. I'm gonna start there and using that slide cut technique. Oh, I don't know if that's right. That didn't seem right. Hold on, that didn't feel right. Okay, I'm gonna slide cut on this side using the smallest, the shortest pieces of my hair for reference. I am gonna be in a weird position because it is on my right side and I'm right-handed. I'm gonna take my clips down and then I'm gonna handle the rest of the face framing pieces that are just like near my ears and whatnot. So that's here. Sometimes I don't cut this part if I'm just okay with how it looks like at the moment. I'm gonna leave it for the most part, except for this hair that is right here. gonna slide cut that because the ends are just so damaged. Okay, because I did it on one side, I will do it to the other. Okay. I think that's basically done. See, that looks like it. Okay, it's getting old Hollywood glamour. What the hell? Okay, you see how that ended up fine. So this is what it's looking like after the cut. Turn around. Can't even see everything. I don't know. Bring it to the front. Okay, let's not do that. From here, I'm going to use the Revlon hair dryer brush. I'm going to style it, and then I leave it to set overnight, so I'll be back tomorrow morning. This is my hair the next day after it has been styled. 1, 2, 3, happy. Good boy, good boy. So this is my hair styled the next day. Like I mentioned before, I just used the Revlon blow dryer brush, and then I threw it into a bun so that I can get these soft curls. And if you want to see the back, that's what it looks like. Oh, this side. This side. So although the process was a bit chaotic, look at how it ended up, okay? And that's the reason why I keep doing this, why I keep cutting my hair at home, because it all works out. I also never wear my hair straight, so you can't really tell that it's unevenly cut. So that's how I cut my hair. I wouldn't really call it a tutorial, more of just bringing you along the journey. If you learned anything from that, I still wouldn't recommend following me. I've based this haircut on a video I saw a couple years ago and have just adapted it to how I want to cut my hair. So I'll probably link that video in the description. It is almost 11 and I am running late to see my friends, so I have to run. Okay, so thank you for watching this video, if anyone's still here. Papa, say bye. Say bye to you. Say bye.